Welcome to Koala Gardens 2022. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my 2021 celebration of all the stuff that went on here at Koala Gardens. So come on and have a look through the year with me and see all of the antics that the koalas got up to. And I want to start by saying that I am so excited because I have reached my first Patreon goal. I'm going to be doing a live broadcast just with my patrons later in January, and the recording will only be available to my patrons. So come on over and become part of the family and support my efforts to save koalas and bring them to the world. It takes a huge amount of my personal time and finances to do what I'm passionate about. 2022 is going to be full of all that I can do to help koalas and taking you along on that journey with me. So sit back, enjoy. There are so many things to see, as well as each of the different koalas. I've got lots of fun. Matilda, Ellie and Bullet popping in and out, giving you some delightful little looks at their antics. Enjoy! You know what I just found out? Around 60% of the people who are viewing my videos haven't even subscribed yet. Hey, you can fix that. Hit that button. I would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the Widjabul Waiable people of the Bundjalung Nation, which is where I live, work and play. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and recognise the strength, resilience and capacity of this nation, and am aware that sovereignty has never been ceded. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Koala Gardens is a wildlife sanctuary on private land. Subscribing helps me bring koalas to you, and liking this video helps me bring them to the whole world. I'm lucky enough to live in the koala's backyard with a wild and free colony on the far north coast of New South Wales in Australia. Check out my Patreon options and come over and chat on my public Discord server. You'll find links for these and lots more in the description below. I'm Katrina and I'm passionate about saving koalas. As well as seeing the koalas of 2021, watch through to see this amazing gift that I was sent from Switzerland. So much fun. I really appreciate you all. During 2021, I had 15 different wild koalas on or moving through the property and 16 different koalas in the kindy facility. A whole year to recap. So I've tried to pull out some real video highlights of the 3 that were here most, which you're going to see spattered all the way through. My Patreon review will include lots of fun facts and figures about the year, as well as a recap of what was happening in the kindy. Now, our hearts have been filled with some great acrobatic feats from our trio, so watch closely as you see them pop in and out all the way through. We had quite a few beautiful young girls move through the property during the dispersion time this year. We're going to basically move through pretty much from the koalas I saw least to the koalas that I saw most. So we'll come in with Nina and Emma, 2 lovely youngsters who were looking to settle and came through. We were really hoping they would settle here, and we never know all of the dynamics that come into play, including food that is available and the responses that they might get from the koalas that actually live here. I love those little grabby hands that koalas have and the amazing positions they can get into in order to have a good scratch. Pretty sure Matilda wins the prize for the biggest scratcher and the most limber of scratches. Watch out for her during this video, as you'll see lots of great scratching moves. The beautiful thing about Emma was her nose pattern. Just look at that pattern. So easy to identify. Won't matter how long it might be before she comes back again, we'll know it's her. And there's my evidence that we were definitely looking at a little girl. Hey Bullet, which way are you going to go, mate? I have to do a huge thank you to Sylvia in Switzerland. She has sent me a gift before and I did do a little shout out about it. But the gift that she sent me this New Year period has just been so gorgeous that I have waited days to be able to open it because I just had to share it with you before I opened it. So the gift comprised of a few things. Firstly, there is this delicious selection of Swiss chocolates. I mean, how generous is Sylvia? It's going to take me so long to get through them. But the really fun part of the gift that I really wanted to share with you is, look at this. I really hope that that's easy to read, that label. She sent me Bullet's poop, right? That is so clever. And how much do they actually look like koala poops? Pretty much, I can tell you. It's pouring rain this morning. Otherwise, I was going to go out and collect some koala poop to show some to you. I do have some in a room in the house, which sounds really strange, but it's really old now and would be very dry. And as if that wasn't enough, she also sent me Matilda's poop. Now these are actually sugar-coated almonds, and I'm a little bit of an almond fan, I must tell you. Sylvia even sent me instructions on how I have to eat them, and I'm going to have to fade out the sound once I start eating because, almonds are quite hard. But she said that I'm supposed to put it in my mouth and let it dissolve. And then I have to take some coffee. So I've got my coffee in my Koala Gardens mug and I've got my Matilda's poop. It's going to take a while. So I'm going to stop recording and just say thank you, Sylvia. The support I get from people all around the world, I've got an almond in my mouth, is just spectacular. Here's to us making a difference in this world for koalas in 2022. It's always fantastic when I happen to come along and find one of the koalas awake, moving about and feeding. There's just nothing more delightful than watching a koala do their thing in the wild. The next gorgeous girl to come along was Bella. Now she had an amazing nose pattern too. We saw some great nose patterns this year on some of the girls that came through, and I think we all fell in love with her instantly. I do wish she had stayed. I feel that she was maybe a little bit older than Emma and Nina. All right, let's scamper on over and have a look at the next one, which was a really fun thing when I found I had koalas in the kindy, I had Luna hanging around outside the kindy, Bullet was often hanging around outside the kindy, and then all of a sudden there was this gorgeous young fellow that we named Bobby. He came through twice. He came through during October when the first day, there he was sleeping in this windy day up in that old tree just outside the kindy. and he came back again in November. So he was definitely moving around through the area looking for a place to settle. Most of the time I saw him, he was very high up in the big treetops. Just look at that little tushy as he goes waddling up the tree trunk. I love a good round koala bottom. Now, as it happens, Rocket was the very first juvenile koala to come through in the beginning of the dispersion late in June. Bullet really told him that he felt he should just move on. How's this though? On Boxing Day, he became the last juvenile to come moving through the property, and not only that, but once again, Bullet found him and said, "Hey, no way, this is my patch." There's a really good video of Bullet and Rocket the first time he came along that I've put a link to up in the cards at the top if you want to have a look at some wild male koala behaviour in all its glory. It certainly ended with Bullet bellowing his way into some great acrobatics. And Ellie knows how to go backwards and forwards, up and down, round and round. That's the way the koala climbs through the trees. Ash has been a delight to watch. He usually drops by just once a month, but we've had some amazing things happen with Ash. There was a time at the early part of the year when every time Ash would come along, Hugo would turn up and be marking that area the next day. Then Ash stopped coming, Hugo disappeared, Ash came back, Hugo's back now, and I haven't seen Ash for a couple of months. I tell you, koalas know everything that's going on. Another young girl that moved through, Kalara, I really thought that she was considering staying. She moved through at her leisure. She was here for about 10 days, and just when I thought, ooh, maybe we've got a new girl join the colony, nope, she was gone. I know that Bullet had quite an eye on her in the first days she was here, so I'm thinking that maybe the males got a little bit too interested and she decided to try her luck settling somewhere else. But you know what? The girls just never get away from the boys, really. Hey, go Ellie, you show us how to move across those tree branches. And of course, I'm sure you were all waiting for this one, Jessie. Our gorgeous Houdini. Of course, he stole the hearts of everyone all the world around as he took charge of his own destiny. He ate as much as he could, and those nostril flares will always make me laugh. Again, I've got a link up in the cards at the top so that you can see a bit more of some of the fun and game antics of how Jessie got here, how he escaped, and how he moved around for months working out what his destiny was going to be. Good luck, mate. Sometimes it can be just so hard to decide which way should a girl go. the big, bold and beautiful Hugo. He really gave us a mystery this year. After establishing himself as the alpha of areas 9, 10, 11 and even over to area 12 for some time, suddenly he was gone. 6 months later, without so much as a beg pardon, he's back in his favourite patch, and Bullet has had to move back out of his way. Once Hugo had been gone for about 5 or 6 weeks, Bullet started moving over through his area, and so again it shows how much koalas are aware of what's going on. But no, Bullet's back, spending more and more time outside my kitchen window, which makes me perfectly happy. Phoenix, well, she knows her own mind and she comes and goes on her own terms. Late in 2020, she showed us a bulging, wriggling pouch, and then we didn't see her again until May when she came back through with Luna. Look at Luna there underneath her. That was the first time we got to see her. Now, Phoenix was born here on the property and she knows all the land surrounding here and all of the trees very well. We didn't see her again until she wandered into a chicken coop on a neighbour's property in July. We helped them out, did a health check, and popped Phoenix and Luna back in a better spot here on the property. Her gorgeous Joey got named Luna at this time, and we've been watching them both avidly since then. Luna is now fully independent and sorting out where she'll settle down. I had her here most days of the week for quite a while, but now she's moving around slightly larger areas, sorting things out for herself. Much as we always want every koala to just stay here so that we can look at them and just enjoy watching everything about them, being able to move through the landscape the way they need to is absolutely critical to the long-term koala health, because they need to be able to ensure genetic diversity. So the females need to move at times because they will want to mate with different males to give as much diversity to their progeny, and the males will often move a bit depending on what other males are around and what that means for the amount of competition that they've got. So while we always want to see them stay, we also always celebrate that there is enough connectivity in this area here that they do move around. I put a link up in the cards to a video about this one as well. Look at that. That's actually Bullet and Luna sleeping very close to each other. Some great antics have gone on, and it's just always a delight to watch all of the koalas and really learn some things about the intricacies of koala behaviour. I think one of the most hilarious antics that we got to witness this month was the day Matilda snuck out of the tree that Bullet had her bailed up in. He was asleep, she snuck down. Now this is not in slow motion, that is literally how slowly Matilda is going down that tree. And then that precious moment when Bullet woke up and realised she was gone, saw her moving off across the landscape, and down the tree he came. And those of you that have seen that video know what happened. I'll leave a link up in the cards above here if you want to go and watch that one. The leafing team from Friends of the Koala come most weeks of the year now to cut leaf out of the plantation and take back to feed to the koalas in care. It's a huge job, and I am so grateful for the people who are able to do that important job. I do my bit, I grow the leaf, but then these amazing people come and cut that leaf, put it in the van, cart it back, sort it all out, and then the people doing the care shifts then further cut it up and put it in to feed the hospitalised koalas. 2021 was packed with koalas and a huge range of native wildlife that are an important part of their ecosystem. I want to give a huge thanks to all of you who subscribe and comment, to those who adopt koalas, and those who purchase books and calendars. I could not do this without this support, because this is my passion and I do all of this voluntarily. Finally, but definitely not least, I want to personally thank every one of my patrons at Patreon. I need to apologize in advance if I pronounce your name incorrectly. So a huge thanks to Gary Edwards, Tim Watson, Celia Bibonian, Eccleston's Angel, Vivian LaBelle, Lynn, Atsuko and Francis, Anja Schneider, Sharon Whitman, Jim in VA, Morgry, Maxine, Valerie Smarter, Rob Napier, Brittany Hagen-Smith, Bazzy Leacom, Valentina, Ursi Barnard, Sandra Benoni Calazans, Cordula Judith Scherer, Tonya Vestergaard, and Serby Dillon. Thank you. Your support means the world to me. Happy New Year, everyone. Here we go into 2022. Thanks for visiting Koala Gardens. Did you hit the like button? Now before you go, there's lots more great video to see, and make sure you've subscribed and hit that notification bell.